South Sudan's government says it's concerned that elephants could become extinct in the East African country because of the illegal wildlife trade.
It says the number of elephants in the country has fallen from 5,000 to less than 2,500 in the last 15 years. Patrick Oyet reports from South Sudan.
An elephant killed for its task in Nimule National Park. Poaching elephants has become common in national parks and game reserves across South Sudan. Nimule National Park is near the border between Uganda and South Sudan, manned by few poorly paid security officers. The borders are porous and poachers can easily cross with ivory into Uganda.
The problem is lack of economic activities that is given to them. All poaching, charcoal burning is caused by lack of economic activity in the area, both here and in the neighboring Uganda.
The civil war which raged in South Sudan between 2013 and 2018 led to the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, some of which are now used to kill elephants for their task. It also triggered an economic crisis, pushing wildlife protection even further down the list of government priorities. Here in Nimule National Park, 2 of the 3 posts for government troops that used to protect the animals have been abandoned due to lack of funds to keep the game rangers at work.
Poachers is everywhere. Poaching anywhere, poaching activities is everywhere. In the whole of South Sudan. And control. If you want to control very seriously, you may even die. They will shoot you. Here, poaching, people poach mostly the elephants. This is what I witnessed for elephant task.
Africa's longest river, the Nile, runs through the national park. Elephants cross the river at will, but so do poachers.
We've strengthened our security at the exit points. We are able to get it to screen and get to know where we can, we are able to do it. Yeah, so they have become so sophisticated in terms of how they conceal the contraband.
Ivory is sometimes painted black and labeled as cow horns or concealed as plastics for recycling. To be transboundary transit laws in East Africa, the criminals do not tag or brand the smuggled ivory from South Sudan. Instead, they sneak it out as old tires meant for retread, old car batteries, or hide them among timbers or logs. The Uganda Wildlife Authority says it is aware of organized criminal networks involved in illegal wildlife trafficking from Uganda to Vietnam, including one called the Viet Group. Founded in northern Vietnam in the late 2000s, it allegedly started its operations in Africa with a view to sourcing wildlife itself and increasing its control of the illicit wildlife supply chain. Once ivory from South Sudan is transported to Uganda, members of the Viet Group can gain access to it. Vietnamese authorities say these members cooperate with local suppliers in Mozambique and Uganda. The Environmental Investigation Agency, or EIA, an NGO based in the US and UK, says most, if not all, international criminal syndicates in transnational wildlife trade in Africa are either Vietnamese or Chinese. In 2019, Uganda's Wildlife Authority arrested several Vietnamese nationals with ivory concealed in trucks that transport goods for exports. It continues to look for others.
Since 2018, Vietnam has become the world's largest import hub for illicit elephant ivory, surpassing China, including Hong Kong share. And this is partly due to the issuance of domestic ivory ban in China in 2017.
EIA says authorities need to do more to tackle wildlife crimes than just seizing contraband.
Just going to the media and going, hey, great job, look at what we seized, is unacceptable. And so there's got to be follow-up investigations in the country where the goods were supposed to be sold and distributed, and in the country that they came from.
South Sudan has 6 national parks and more than 10 game reserves, covering more than 13% of the country's terrain. Many of the wildlife species living there are under threat.
Some animals have disappeared from, like the rhinos have disappeared, elephants have reduced in numbers, ostriches also reduced, giraffe in our areas here have reduced because they are vulnerable and they are being killed for meat one time, but now for commercial purposes.
The protection of elephants here is at crossroads. Authorities fear that their extinction in South Sudan could soon become a reality. Patrick Oyet for CNA, Nimule National Park, South Sudan.